let us start circles. So until now we have learned what are triangles and quadrilaterals, and we have solved many problems on triangles and quadrilaterals. So now let us begin circles. First of all, what is a circle? Okay, if I take a fixed point, say O is a fixed point in a plane. What we are dealing, everything is in a plane, not in a space. So say O is a fixed point, and say there is a fixed distance r. There is a fixed distance r. So let us take a point which is at a distance r from O. Fine. So let us take another point which is at a distance r from O. So if I take all the points which are at the same fixed distance, that is at a distance r from a fixed point O. Okay. So all these points are at a distance r from O. Now if I join all these points, I would get a shape something like this. Okay, so this is called a circle. So this entire thing is called a circle. What is the property of all the points lying on the circle? The property is that all the points are at the same distance from this fixed point. So all the points on the circle are at a fixed distance, that is r in this case, from a fixed point, that is O in this case. Okay, this is the property of all the points lying on the circle. So all the points lying are at a fixed distance r from the fixed point O. Okay, so this fixed point O is called the center of the circle. Okay, and this fixed distance r, this is called the radius of the circle. Fine. So what is a circle? The set of all the points which are at a fixed distance r from a fixed point. All these set, if I join together all the points which are at a fixed distance from a fixed point, then I'll get a circle. Okay. So let us discuss some of the terms in a circle. So we have already seen what is a circle. What is the circumference of a circle? So the perimeter of the circle, that is called the circumference. Okay, so this entire thing, this entire perimeter of the circle is called the circumference of a circle. So if a circle is of radius r, then we know that the circumference is 2 pi r. Okay, and what is the area? The region bounded by the circle is called the area. So this entire thing is called the area of the circle. So we have the formulas for the circumference, it is 2 pi r, and for the area it is pi r square. Okay, what is the chord of a circle? If there are any 2 points lying on the circle, then the line segment joining these 2 points is called a chord of the circle. So say PQ is the chord of a circle. And what is the diameter? Diameter is the chord of a circle which passes through the center of the circle. So in this case, AB is the diameter, and it is the longest chord in the circle. So there are so many chords in the circle, right? All these are chords, but the longest chord is the diameter. So there are so many diameters. So all the diameters have the same length, that is twice the radius, because OA is equal to radius and OB is equal to radius. So AB is nothing but twice of radius. What is a secant in a circle? So I think these terms are new to you. You have already known before what is circumference, chord, and diameter. So I think secant and tangent are new terms to you. Okay, secant is any line which cuts the circle in 2 distinct points, or say which intersects the circle in 2 distinct points. So this L1 is the secant of the circle. And what is a tangent? Tangent is any line which intersects the circle at only one point. So this is the tangent. So here L2 is the tangent to the circle. Okay. So if there is a circle and if there is a line, okay, then there are 3 possibilities. First is that the line and circle do not intersect in one, do not intersect at any point. So this is that possibility. Second is that line and circle intersect at two distinct points. So this line is called the secant of a circle. And the third possibility is that the line and circle intersect at only one point. So this line is called the tangent of the circle. Okay. So if L2 is the tangent of the circle, then in this case, the circle is said to be touch this line. Okay. So it is said that this circle touches the line L2. If a circle touches the line L2, it means L2 is tangent to the circle. It means it intersects the circle at only one point. And this point is called the point of contact. Okay. So the point of contact is that point at which the line and circle intersects, at which the tangent and the circle intersects. Okay. So I think this is clear. What is secant and tangent? Now, what is an arc? So any part of the circle is called an arc. Say RS, this is an arc of a circle. Say PQ, this is an arc. Say PB, this is an arc. Okay. So arcs are denoted in this fashion. So RS, this is the notation for arc. If we just do this, then this is the line segment RS. Whereas if we do in this way, then this is the arc RS. Okay, this is the notation for arc. So arc PQ is noted in this way. Okay, so this is arc PQ, whereas this is line segment PQ. Fine. So RS is the arc, QS is the arc, so on. There are so many arcs. Now, what is central angle? The angle subtended by any arc at the center of the circle is called central angle. Okay. So here angle ROS is the central angle of the arc RS. Fine. Similarly, angle POQ is the central angle of the arc PQ. This arc PQ. Okay. This arc PQ subtends this much angle at the center. So this is called central angle of the arc POQ. Fine. What is a semicircle? So if there is a diameter AB, then this diameter divides the circle exactly in two equal halves. Okay. So this is the first half and this is the second half. So each half is called the diameter semicircle. Each half is called the semicircle. So this entire thing is one semicircle and this is another semicircle. Okay. So then what will be the area of semicircle? Since the area of the entire circle is pi r square, the area of half of the circle will be pi r square by 2. Okay, so the area of the semicircle is pi r square by 2. But if I ask you the perimeter of a semicircle, okay, the entire perimeter, that is the entire circumference, is 2 pi r. But the perimeter of the semicircle is half of 2 pi r, that is this length is pi r plus this length, that is 2r. So the perimeter is 2r plus pi r. Just a second. So the perimeter of a semicircle is pi r plus 2r. Fine. I think what we have discussed till now is pretty much basic and I think it is clear to everyone. Let us move ahead. So some more basic terms which are related to the circles. What do you mean by congruent arcs? Okay, we have already learned what are congruent triangles. So what are congruent arcs? Say this is an arc PQ and this is an arc RS. Okay. So arc PQ is equals to arc RS. If this is the condition, then PQ and RS are said to be congruent arcs. What do you mean by arc PQ is equal to arc RS? Arc PQ means this entire length. Okay. So this entire length is equal to this length. So if this is true, okay, if these two lengths are equal, then PQ and RS are said to be congruent arcs. So there is a property that the arcs of equal length will subtend the same angle at the center. So the central angle of these two congruent arcs will be equal. So in this case, I can say that angle POQ is equals to angle ROS. And also the converse is true. That is, if there are two arcs which subtend equal angles at the center, then the length of those two arcs is same. Okay. So what are concentric circles? So if there are circles which have the same center, So those circles are said to be concentric circles. What is a segment? Okay. So the part of the circular region which is bounded by a chord, okay, chord and the arc, this is said to be a segment. So say here AB is the chord, then AB divides the circle into two regions, okay, this one and this one, okay. So this is first and this is second. So the smaller region is called the minor segment and the larger region is called the major segment. Fine. So the part of the region bounded by an arc and a chord is called the segment of a circle. Fine. Now let us see what is a sector of a circle. So the part of the region which is bounded by an arc of a circle and two radii, this is called the sector. So this entire thing is the sector of the circle. Fine. So these are the two radius and this is an arc. This is the sector of a circle. Let us see what is the formula for area of the sector. Okay, let us say this sector subtends an angle theta at the center. That is the arc AB subtends an angle theta at the center. Okay, so if the circle is full, then we know that the area is pi r square. If it is half, then the area is pi r square by 2. Okay, what do you mean by full circle? Full circle means it is 360 degrees at the center. So if this full circle subtends 360 degrees at the center, then its area is pi r square. And the half circle, it subtends 180 degrees at the center, right? Because this is the half arc, that is a semi-arc or semicircle. This will subtend 180 degrees at the center, so its area is half of pi r square. So if an arc AB is subtending theta at the center, then what is the area of this sector? So area of sector AOB is theta by 360 into pi r square, right? Because the full circle, that is 360 degrees, is equivalent to area of pi r square. Then theta is equivalent to area of pi r square by pi r square into theta by 360. Fine. And similarly, we can write the perimeter. Okay. So instead of writing the perimeter, let us write the circumference of arc, or say length of arc. Length of arc AB. Okay. So we are talking about this length. This length. So this length is how much? This would be theta by 360 into 2 pi r, right? Because the entire length is 2 pi r, right? But entire length means the entire circle subtends 360 degrees at the center. So its length is 2 pi r. Now if a certain arc subtends theta at the center, then it will be proportional to that, right? It will be the proportional to the angle subtended at the center. So it will be theta by 360 into 2 pi r. And now what would be the perimeter of the sector? So the perimeter of sector would be arc length AB plus twice of radius, right? Because this is R, and this is arc length AB. Okay. So the area of sector is theta by 360 into pi r square, because the entire circle circle subtends 360 at the center and has area pi r square. So an arc which subtends theta at the center will have theta by 360 into pi r square. Similarly, the length of arc is theta by 360 into 2 pi r. Okay, now let us see what are concyclic points. So if there are points which are lying on the same circle, then those points are said to be concyclic points. And what is a cyclic quadrilateral? If all the vertices of a quadrilateral ABCD lie on a particular circle, then this quadrilateral ABCD is said to be cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so let us just discuss a little bit more about this. Let us say we have a triangle. We have a triangle ABC. We have already seen that through vertices of triangle ABC, we can always pass a circle, right? And this circle is called the circumcircle of triangle ABC, right? Circumcircle of triangle ABC. But if there are 4 points, or if say there is a quadrilateral ABCD, okay, this is a quadrilateral ABCD. Now we cannot always pass a circle through all the 4 points of a quadrilateral. This is not possible always. Okay, it is possible only in some cases, and when it is possible, this quadrilateral is said to be cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so if all the 4 vertices of a quadrilateral can be passed through a same circle, then this quadrilateral is said to be a cyclic quadrilateral. Okay, so for any quadrilateral, we can't have a circle which passes through all the 4 vertices. Only for certain special type of quadrilaterals called cyclic quadrilaterals, we have the property that all the 4 vertices can pass through the same circle. Okay, we have already learned what is a circumcircle of a triangle. So the circle which passes through all the vertices of a triangle is called the circumcircle, and the center is called circumcenter. So here OA is equals to OB is equals to OC. And what is encircle? The circle which touches all the 3 sides of a triangle. Okay, it means BC is tangent to the circle because there is only one point of contact here. And similarly, AC is also tangent to the circle, and AB is also tangent to the circle. So if a circle touches all the 3 sides of a triangle, then it is called the incircle of the triangle. Okay, so we have incircles for all the triangles. So the center is called the incenter of the triangle, and this is the radius. Radius is the perpendicular distance from center to the any of the sides of the triangle. Okay, yeah. So fine, you do this question, and if you get the answer, then just tell me in the chat. So in this question, you can use pi is equals to 22/7. Okay, so pi is a fixed constant. So it is an irrational number. Pi is irrational number, but its approximate values are 22/7 and 3.14. These are the approximate values, not exact values of pi. Okay. So in this question, use pi is equals to 22/7. Okay, so almost everyone has done the question. Let us see it. So there is a sector which is subtending 60 degrees at the center, right? And radius is 7. So what is area of the sector? Area is theta by 360 into pi r square. So it is 60 by 360 into pi is 22/7 into r is 7. So this is 6, 2 3s, 2 11s. Fine. So this is 77/3. And the perimeter. So to find out the perimeter, let us first find the length of r. So length of arc is theta by 360 into 2 pi r. So 2 times 22 by 7 times 7, that is 22 by 3. So many of you have given the answer as 22 by 3. But what is the perimeter of a sector? Perimeter is the entire thing, right? This entire thing, OA plus OB plus AB. This is the perimeter of the sector. So perimeter is OA, line segment OA plus line segment OB plus arc length AB. So this is 7 plus 7 plus 22 by 3. Okay. So this is the perimeter of the sector, not 22 by 3. 22 by 3 is the length of the arc, which subtends 60 degrees at the center. Okay, so I think you have copied it down, or I'll give you 10 seconds to copy it down quickly. Yeah, so let's move to the next question. Solve this. So try this, and if you get the answer, then let me know it in the chat. Okay, in this answer, you leave pi as pi. Okay, don't substitute any value of pi. Just leave pi as it is. So you need to find the shaded area. This is the shaded area. So some of you have already solved. So let us discuss. So the shaded area is nothing but the area of sector, right? Area of sector OPQ minus area of triangle OPQ. Fine. So if I subtract this area of triangle OPQ from this entire sector, I'll get the shaded area, right? What is the area of sector? It is theta by 360 into pi r square. So 60 by 360 into pi into 7 square. So this is 49 pi by 6. This is area of sector. And what is the area of triangle OPQ? So if you observe, OP is 7, OQ is 7, and this angle is 60 degrees, right? So then I can say that PQ will also be equal to 7, right? This would be equilateral triangle. So if say in any triangle you have two sides equal and the angle between them is 60 degrees, then the third side would also be equal to one of these two sides and the triangle would be equilateral. Okay, so this triangle OPQ is equilateral. So what is the area of equilateral triangle? Area of equilateral triangle is root 3 by 4 times side square. So this is root 3 by 4 times 7 square, which is 49 root 3 by 4. So the shaded area is nothing but 49. You can take 49 as common, and then you'll get pi by 6 minus root 3 by 4. So this would be the answer. And I think you know how the area of equilateral triangle is root 3 by 4 times side square. So if you want, then you can prove it. It's simple. If you don't know how to prove it, then you just try to prove it at your home. So the thing is, if in any triangle there are two sides of equal length and the included angle is 60 degrees, then the third side will also be equal to one of these two sides and the triangle would be equilateral triangle. Okay, so why is this true? You just think about it, or we will deal with this when we learn trigonometry. Fine. So let us move forward. Okay, yeah, just copy it down quickly. So 30 seconds to copy it down. Yeah, let us move forward. Yeah, try this question. So the radius of two circles is given as r, and each circle passes through the center of the other circle. So say this is C1, center of first circle, and this is C2, center of second circle. So this circle passes through C1 and this circle passes through C2. So you need to find the common area, that is this area. Fine. The radius is r. You can just leave pi as it is in the answer. So your answer should be in terms of r. So if you get the answer, then let me know it in the chat. Fine. So let us discuss this problem. So there are two circles of equal radii r, and this is the center of first circle, say C1, and this is the center of second circle, C2. So we need to find a common area, right? That is this entire area. This is what we need to find. Okay. So what I'm doing is I'm just joining these two. So this would be R because this is the center. This is the center of the first circle and this is a point on the circumference. So this is R. Similarly, this is also R because this is the center and this is the point on the circumference. And similarly, this is also R, right? Now, this angle would be 60 because the triangle is equilateral. Let us say this point is P. So triangle C1P C2 is equilateral. So this implies that angle PC1 C2 is equals to 60 degrees. Okay. So we want to find the entire area. By symmetry, you can see that this is the half of the area, right? Because this and this lower portion would be equal. So let us just try to find this one and then we'll double it. Okay. So how will you find this, the area of this one? Okay. So we have already learned that how to find the area of sector PC1 C2, right? This is theta by 360 into pi r square. And we also know how to find the area of this segment. This is what we have done in the previous question, right? So since we know to find the area of this sector and we know to find the area of this segment, then we can find the entire area and we can just double this to get the entire common area. Okay, so this was the idea. So area of sector C1P C2 is equals to 60 by 360 into pi r square. So this is pi r square by 6. Okay, so this is the area which we have got. Okay, so this area is pi r square by 6. Now we want to find this area, this one. Okay, so the green one, this is what we need to find. So how will you find this green area? So the green segment area is equals to area of this sector C2 C1P minus area of this triangle, right? So that is simply pi r square by 6 minus area of equilateral triangle is root 3 by 4 into r square. So you got the green area also, this area, and you got the sector area also. Then if you just add this, you'll get this one and you can double it to get the answer. So final answer would be double of, say this is 1 and this is 2, double of 1 plus 2. Okay, so pi r square by 6 plus pi r square by 6, that is pi r square by 3 minus root 3 by 4 times r square. So this is the common area. Okay, so just copy it down quickly, then we'll move further. Quickly copy it down. Fine, so let us move further. So now let us discuss some theorems in circles. Okay, some of the important properties you can say. So the first one is that equal chords subtend equal angle at the center. So if RS and PQ are two chords which are equal in length, okay, that is the length of PQ is equal to length of RS, then these angles would be equal. Okay, so just quickly prove it. Use the congruency of triangles. So 30 seconds to prove it. Fine. So it is given PQ is equals to RS, you need to prove angle POQ is equals to angle ROS. 30 seconds for this. Yeah, fine. So PQ is equals to RS is given, and OP is equals to OQ is equals to OR is equals to OS is equals to radius, right? OP is equals to OQ is equals to OR is equal to OS is equals to radius. So then triangle POQ is congruent to triangle ROS by SSS criteria. So if they are congruent, then these two angles would be equal. Fine. So next theorem is the converse of the first one. So the first one was that if the length of chords is equal, then they subtend equal angle at the center. The second one is that if two chords subtend equal angle at center, then their lengths must be equal. Fine. So given angle POQ is equals to angle ROS, this implies that PQ is equals to RS. Just you can use the SAS criterion here. Triangle POQ is congruent to triangle ROS by SAS criterion. So then PQ must be equal to RS. So the third one, the perpendicular from the center to the chord bisects the chord. So say this is the center of the circle and this is the chord AB. Now if I draw a perpendicular, you need to prove that this one bisects the chord, means AD is equals to DB. This is what you need to prove. So again 30 seconds for this. Fine. So given OD perpendicular to AB, to prove AD is equals to DB. 30 seconds. Yes, so let us join OA and OB. Now OA is equals to OB is equals to radius. So you can see that these two triangles are congruent, OAD and ODB, by right angled hypotenuse and side. Fine. So triangle OAD is congruent to triangle OBD by RHS. So this implies that AD must be equal to DB. Or you can simply say that since OA is equals to OB, since OA and OB are equal because they are radius, then O must lie on the perpendicular bisector of AB, right? So if this is a perpendicular, then this will bisect the chord AB. So the second one is the converse of this one, that from the center, if you join the midpoint of the chord, then this line will be perpendicular to the chord. So if AD is equals to DB, this implies that OD will be perpendicular to AB. So how can you prove it? You can prove it in the same way, that since OA is equals to OB, O must lie on the perpendicular bisector. So if we join O with the midpoint, then this will be perpendicular. Or you can use the congruency criterion, that is SSS congruency. Okay. Next, one and only one circle passes through three non-collinear points. Okay, that let us say there are three non-collinear points, say A, B, and C. Then you need to prove that exactly one circle will pass through ABC and only one circle will pass. Not more than one circle can pass through three non-collinear points. Okay, this circle itself we call the circumcircle of triangle ABC. So you need to prove that only one circle can pass through these three non-collinear points. So 1 minute for this. Yes, so let us discuss this one. So, what do you mean by that? Only one circle passes through ABC. I mean, we will try to find, we will try to prove that there is a point O such that OA is equals to OB is equals to OC. Okay. So, we will try to prove that there is a point or there exists a point O such that OA is equals to OB is equals to OC. So this is the symbol for there exists, and this is the symbol for such that. Okay, so we will try to prove that there exists a point O for which OA is equals to OB is equals to OC, right? If OA is equals to OB is equals to OC, then all these 3 points will lie on a circle with center O, because all these, the distances from O to all these points is equal. And we will prove that there is only one such point, right? And we will prove that there is only one such point. Okay, so this is what we are trying to do. Okay, fine. So since OA is equals to OB, then O should lie on perpendicular bisector of AB, right? So let us just erase this. So let us say this is the perpendicular bisector of AB. Okay. So since OA is equals to OB, this implies O must lie on perpendicular bisector of AB, right? And similarly, O must lie on perpendicular bisector of BC, right? Since OB is equals to OC. So let us draw the perpendicular bisector of BC. So this is BC and this is the perpendicular bisector of BC. So this is the perpendicular bisector of BC. Okay. So say this is line L1 and this is line L2. Fine. So since OA is equals to OB, O must lie on L1, and since OB is equals to OC, O must lie on L2. Now O must lie on both L1 and L2, and we know that two lines can intersect maximum at one point. Okay. So since the lines can intersect maximum at one point only, then there exists exactly one and only one point such that OA is equals to OB is equals to OC. Fine. So since L1 comma L2 can intersect exactly at one point, so this implies that there is a unique point O. There is a unique point O which satisfies OA is equals to OB is equals to OC, and so the circle will be having the center as O, and this would be the circle with radius OA and center as O. So what we proved that there is only one center. There is only one point which such that all these points A, B, C are at equal distances from that point. Fine. So just quickly copy it down, then we'll move further. So 30 seconds to copy it down, then we'll move further. Fine. So if there are three non-collinear points, then there is exactly one circle passing through those 3 points. Yes. Now you need to prove that equal chords of a circle are equidistant from center. Okay. So say this is a circle and these are two chords, PQ and RS. This is the center. If PQ is equals to RS, then you need to prove that these are equidistant from center. Say this is A and this is B. So you need to prove that OA is equals to OB. So 30 seconds for this. Okay, 30 seconds to prove this. Okay, PQ is equals to RS implies OA is equals to OB. Yes, I think all of you are able to do this. So if PQ is equals to RS, right? Then if we drop a perpendicular, we know that a perpendicular bisects the chord. So half of PQ will be equal to half of RS. And if you just join these two, then you can say that these two triangles are congruent, right? The triangle ORA is congruent to triangle OPB, right? Because this is radius and this is sides and this is 90 degree by RHS. So this implies that OA is equals to OB. That is the distance of two chords from the center is equal if the length of the chords is equal. So similarly, the converse of this is also true, that if two chords are equidistant from center, then their lengths are equal. Okay. So you can just prove this in 30 seconds. So if there are two chords such that OA is equals to OB, then you need to prove that PQ is equals to RS. Again, I mean, by same RHS congruency, since OP is equals to OR is equals to radius, you can prove that triangle OPA is congruent to triangle ORB by RHS. So this will implies that RB is equals to PA, right? So then if you double this, you'll get PQ is equals to RS. Fine. Let us move further. So the next property is that, let us say there is a circle and say there is an arc AB. Okay. So the angle which this arc subtends at the center of the circle, okay, this angle would be double the angle, that this arc subtends at any other point on the circumference. So say this is point C, say this is point O, right? So if this angle is theta, then this would be 2 theta. Okay. So just try to prove this. I mean, we have already done this in triangles. when I asked you to find the angle ASB, where S was the circumcenter, we used this thing, right? We got angle ASB as 2C. So using the same procedure, try to prove this one. So the angle subtended by an arc at the center is double the angle that the arc subtends at remaining at any point on the remaining portion, right? At any point on the remaining circumference of circle. Okay, so try to prove this one. I'll give you 1 minute. Fine, it is given angle ACB is equals to theta to prove angle AOB is equals to 2 theta. Fine, so let us discuss this one. So let us join this CO. Okay, join CO. Now since CO is equals to OA, then angle OAC is equals to angle OCA is equals to X. So this is X and this is X. Now similarly, OC is equals to OB. So this is Y and this is Y. So similarly, angle OCB is equals to angle OBC is equals to Y. Okay. So then this angle would be 180 minus 2x and this angle would be 180 minus 2y, because in a triangle sum of angles should be 180. So this finally implies that angle OAB would be 360 minus 180 minus 2x minus 180 minus 2y. Okay, so that is twice of x plus y. So this is twice of theta since x plus y is theta. Okay, so angle AOB is equals to twice of angle ACB. Fine. So let us move forward. So say if there is a circle, let us say you have a circle and say you have an arc AB. So then this arc subtends equal angles on the circumference. So all these angles are equal. Okay, why? Because just we know that if this angle is theta, then angle AOB is 2 theta, and if angle AOB is 2 theta, then angle ADB is theta and angle AEB is theta, right? So an arc subtends equal angles at all the portions on the circumference. Fine. So this AB is called the minor arc here. So this is the minor arc, and this one is the major arc. So this one is the major arc. Okay. So this arc AB subtends equal angles at the circumference. Okay, I think it is clear, right? Because if angle ACB is theta, this implies that angle AOB is twice of theta. That is what we have learned in the previous theorem. And this implies that angle at the circumference will be half of the angle at the center. So angle ADB would be half of angle AOB, that would be theta. Similarly, angle AEB would be half of angle AOB, that would also be theta. Okay. So let us do a question now. Say this is a circle and this is the center. So this is A, B, or say this is B, this is C, and this is D. So this angle is say 30 degrees. Okay, find angle ADC. So this is the question. Try to solve it. If you get the answer, then let me know it in the chat. Fine. See, arc AC subtends 30 degrees, right? So arc AC subtends 30 degrees on the alternate segment, right? Because I mean AC arc subtends 30 degrees on the remaining part of the circle. So this angle would be 30, this angle would be 30, this angle would be 30. So all these angles would be 30, but this angle will not be 30. Okay, because what we have learned is this arc AB subtends theta at all the remaining portions, right? I mean, except the arc AB, if you take any point, except arc AB, then at all these points, the angle would be theta. Okay, but not at any point on the arc AB. This angle would not be theta. So angle ADC is not 30 degrees. Then how to find angle ADC? Okay, so let us join AO and OC. Then we know that angle AOC is equals to twice of angle ABC, that is 60 degrees, right? Now this implies that this angle is 300 degrees, right? That is the reflex angle AOC. Reflex angle AOC is 300 degrees because sum of angles at O is 360. Now consider this arc. Let us say this is the major arc. So consider major arc ABC. Okay, major arc means this one, the bigger one. So this is the minor arc, this is the major arc. So this arc subtends 300 degrees at the center, right? So at the remaining part of the circle, this will subtend half of this. So this angle will be 150 degrees. Okay. So it subtends 300 degrees at center. So this implies angle ADC would be half of 300. That would be 150 degrees. Okay. So the answer would be 150. So if there is a cyclic quadrilateral means all the vertices are on the same circle, then the sum of the opposite angles is 180 degrees. Okay. So in a cyclic quadrilateral, that is the next theorem. In a cyclic quadrilateral, the sum of opposite angles is 180 degrees. Right? So this is a cyclic quadrilateral ABCD. Then angle A plus angle C is equals to angle B plus angle D is equals to 180. Right? If ABCD is cyclic quadrilateral. Okay. So the sum of opposite angles is 180. The reason we have seen in this problem, because say this angle is theta, then this angle would be 2 theta, and this would be 360 minus 2 theta. Then this angle would be half of this 360 minus 2 theta, that is 180 minus theta. So if this is theta, then this is 180 minus theta. Okay, so you can prove it at your home. Fine. Okay, so I think this is sufficient for today. We'll end today's session. I'll send the assignment